If you feel like you just cannot lose the weight that you're after, or it's 100 times harder than it used to be, or you maybe look back at old summer photos and think, why don't I just look like that anymore? Then this is probably the downfall. Self-sabotage. You're probably self-sabotaging. You are probably limiting yourself and telling yourself you won't look like that again, or you can't possibly look like that again because you've had kids, or because it's a decade older, or because you had to starve yourself to get there the first time. You are limiting yourself from believing that you can do something similar now. Now, don't get me wrong, obviously your body's never going to look the same after kids. A decade later, you're also never going to look exactly the same. Obviously, if you had to go really harsh to get there, then you might need to push quite hard for a long time to get to where you want to be. But it's really important to change this in your head and start telling yourself that you can do it. Because the people that succeed aren't the ones that are necessarily genetically blessed. They can be, but it's not necessary. The ones that are really lean and lose the big transformations you see online that lose 5, 6, 7 stone. The thing that separates them from the people that start these diets and don't succeed is that they didn't give up. They kept going when things were hard. They learned how to work around obstacles. They had to pick themselves up every single time, because everyone has to pick themselves up sometimes. It's never easy and it's never a streamlined process. You will have to pick yourself up off the floor a few times. But the people that get these big life-changing transformations or look incredible in summer are the ones that lean into the difficulties and stop self-sabotaging. We self-sabotage to keep ourselves safe. So if you can work out what your fear is, that is a really good first step. For me, I always used to be scared of being lean. Now, it might sound crazy, but I thought people would then only value me for being lean, which I know sounds crazy, but that was my deep-rooted belief that if I was shredded, that is all people would like. I thought like men would maybe take advantage of me for that. And like I had some deep-rooted beliefs from deep-rooted things that happened before that made me believe that if I was lean, that is all I'd be valued for. And my body would be all that people would care about. So I would self-sabotage. I get close to a photo shoot and I'd eat some chocolate and maybe binge. I'd have a holiday and I just wouldn't be able to stick to calories, even though I knew I could, because I was self-sabotaging. So number one, learn what the belief is, and it could be so many different things, but it's usually something that's trying to keep you safe. A really common one, which I also have, maybe not so much in health and fitness, but I've had in other areas of my life, is the fear of failure. It's that fear that if I put myself out there and I put my all into it and I don't succeed, I failed. And changing that belief to, okay, and so what? So what? That is the thing that I tell myself is so what? Okay, if you put yourself out on YouTube and you don't make it as a successful YouTuber, who cares? Who cares? Okay, if you only ever have 100 subscribers, who cares? It's never as embarrassing or as bad as we think it is. But we tell ourselves, okay, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try, or I'm gonna limit myself and I'm not gonna post regularly, or I'm gonna, get closer to the shoot date or the holiday, whatever it is, and start overeating. Or, okay, it's my 40th soon. I'm just not even gonna try. I'm gonna self-sabotage before I even start. It is so surprising how much, if you can build your self-trust and your self-confidence, you will stop self-sabotaging, because suddenly you're someone that doesn't see these limiting beliefs, or they don't have as much power as they did before, and they start to see that they can do things. They have evidence and proof of success. And so the self-sabotage doesn't work in the same way. And again, having systems to get around the self-sabotage. If you know that closer to a holiday or closer to a big event, or something where you need to be wearing a tight dress, or something where you're going to be seeing people from your past, if you know that that's when you start to fall off track with your food, or you start to drink a bit more, or you start to eat a bit more sugar, then work with that. Have systems in place. Make sure you've meal prepped. Make sure you planned in the sugar. Make sure you've done things that mean that you don't have to self-sabotage, because it's almost part of the plan. The more flexibility around that time is already part of the plan. So you don't have the need to self-sabotage, hit the fuck it button metaphorically, and give up. Self-sabotage takes a while. So if you want proper coaching around this, support and advice that is going to be detailed and specific to you, or if you want help around even knowing what your self-sabotage or limiting beliefs are, drop me a comment below, or there's a link in my bio and the description for lots more information on my one-to-one coaching, which is totally personalized and will get you rewiring those beliefs, rewiring that brain, and get you losing fat. But the fat loss trap is self-sabotage. The fat loss trap is self-sabotaging yourself and trying to keep yourself safe. I call this the 75% rule. So many clients will set a goal of losing 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever the goal, and get 75% of the way. And that final 25% is so hard. That's often when people will be like, okay, I don't really coach anymore. I've been doing so well. I'm good. And I'm like, this is the hard bit. This is the bit where people mess up, because you'll get safe. you're feeling much better than when you started. You have some good habits in place than when you started. You're close to it better, you have more energy. Like, you're seeing the benefits of that 75% progress, and you start to get safe. You start to keep yourself safe. You start to self-sabotage and tell yourself that you can't do that last 25%. Or you start to tell yourself that this is as far as you can get. This is good. You've done well. This is as far as you can get. You can't do that last bit. That bit's just too scary. It's the unknown. That last 25% can be the bit that people really struggle with. So if you're on a fat loss journey or a strengthening journey or a body composition journey, and you feel like you've got a lot of the way there, but you're still struggling with that last bit, and you just feel like you can't make the changes, you keep self-sabotaging, you can't seem to just quite get to the end, or you keep giving up when you're 5 pounds away from your goal, then drop me a subscribe, because you need my YouTube to help with videos every single week, twice a week, giving you tips, tricks, and advice that will stop the self-sabotage and get you to that end goal and get you losing fat sustainably for the rest of your life. And like I said, more information about my actual coaching is in the bio and the description as well.